Chilling tales for dark nights.
Want to make sure you never miss a Chilling Tales for Dark Nights video again? Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell to turn on notifications.
I've Googled everything I could about CarpetCure, and I can't find anything. I know they exist. I've reviewed their videos. I've shown the videos to friends. But I can't find them. And no one else can either. My name is Steve, and I'm writing from a motel where the green cake around the edge of the bathtub is the least of my worries, despite being a neat freak. No, I'm worried about CarpetCure. What is CarpetCure? I have to start from the beginning so you understand how I got here, and honestly, this is probably the last time I get on the internet if I manage to make it out of this. I'm a content policy enforcement analyst. It's a long-winded way of saying that I review video uploads for a massive and red and white video sharing website. There are thousands of workers like me, all tasked with doing fast and dirty glance-overs of anything you can think of that winds up on the public platform. If it piques your interest, I have to let you know that it is an incredibly boring job. No, you don't get to witness creepy, provocative, or secret material 99% of the time. Mostly, you see everyone's high school choir recordings or some guy in his truck telling you the truth. Sometimes you get the rogue pornography or gore shitpost, which is just a simple red flag scenario. You click a couple of buttons and voila, it's gone. Boring. I'd be lying if I said I didn't get lazy. Maybe if I didn't, I would have realized what was happening earlier. Maybe I could have stopped it. But there's no use in dwelling in the past. It was easy to skip ahead to random video portions and give it the green light. Videos explaining how to start a campfire? Click, click, permitted. A very shaky grandma uploading her grandson's basketball game? Go on. A video that seems to be ocean sounds and answers to homework questions for a math class I'd have never passed? Yuck, but you win. It was easy. I worked from home and had Netflix on one monitor and my job on the other most days. Eventually, I began to notice a trend. Carpet cleaning, or upholstery cleaning, kitchen cleaning, really any kind of cleaning you can think of. In the wake of ASMR videos, interest in the atmosphere of a person running a vacuum cleaner for 3 hours peaked to the point where you had dozens, if not hundreds, of accounts trying to capitalize on the trend. These were the easiest videos to greenlight. What's the harm? It was just a guy steaming shirts. One channel in particular became a household name for my household of one. CarpetCure. I would go days without running into any other content besides CarpetCure videos. This wasn't entirely abnormal. Some creators do bulk uploads of their entire catalog or whatever the hell for weeks just to get it out there. I'm pretty sure there's an algorithm out there that doesn't like this method of uploading, but I doubt they cared. CarpetCure was, as far as I could determine, a carpet cleaning business somewhere in Croatia. They had a really nice setup for their videos. You could tell they had lighting, an actual camera tripod, and better sound quality than expected. They took themselves seriously. I was pretty drawn in for the first couple of videos until I realized there were dozens, all the same. Here's how they would run. The CarpetCure logo is on a black background. Ambient jazz. Jazz fades. and so does the logo. Opens in a bare room with a person and various carpet cleaning tools. Sometimes it was just a vacuum. Sometimes it was more sophisticated, like a steamer or some other bulky machine I couldn't really fathom the purpose of. The rooms would be entirely devoid of furniture and cropped close enough to the carpet that you couldn't tell if the room led away into other rooms or not. The person would be in a blue jumpsuit, usually a man, with a little badge that I assume said CarpetCure. And that was it. For the rest of the video, you watched them vacuum, steam, wash, and otherwise clean the floor. No music, no voices, just the sound of the machines running or the person moving. At the end of the video, it would simply fade to black with the logo again. That's all it was. Different carpets, different rooms, different cleaners, but they all ran the same formula. Sometimes the length was short if all they had to do was vacuum, but it was a several hour-long process that you watched most of the time. I, of course, didn't do that. Once I got into the swing of seeing CarpetCure videos in my queue, I just started greenlighting them one after the other. There were hundreds, I'm not kidding. There were hundreds. There were so many that I eventually had to tell someone else about it, because it was just such a ridiculous part of my day to review carpet cleaning videos exclusively. A little over a week ago, I brought it up with my friends, Lore, Jerry, and Todd. Todd was my roommate, so he heard all sorts of stuff from me that I'm technically not supposed to talk about. If I ran into a funky video, sometimes he even watched it with me if I could pull him away from his PS4 for a couple of minutes. This, of course, was a breach of my job responsibilities, but it's not like those mattered anyways. We were at my place playing cards like we always do on Tuesdays. We sound like old people at this point, but I assure you, we had the fire of youth burning through our millennial bodies. Laugh. I told them about it casually, despite having a very real interest in the channel as an anomaly. They were mildly intrigued, and Lore said she had been watching them. I think she's joking, but she assures me that she's not. Somewhat bashfully, she admits that she listens to carpet cleaning videos to fall asleep. Jerry speaks up to say his daughter, 2-year-old Ava, does the same thing.
I used to leave the vacuum running in the room with her at night, no shit.
Jerry explained.
It's really relaxing. I think it's like built into us. Droning noises make us sleepy.
Speaking of droning, Steve, are you done talking about your job?
Todd had quipped, and that was the end of the conversation. We had a little get-together that Sunday. They ask if I'm still looking at carpet cleaning videos daily, and I say yes, I am, and that I'm rather sick of it. Lore seems off, so I ask her if she still puts them on to fall asleep. She's quiet for a minute before saying,
No, I saw something weird. I guess I kinda stopped after that.
The rest of the table honed in on our conversation.
Something weird?
Todd asked. She laughed nervously and waved her hands a bit.
Or maybe it wasn't weird, I don't know. I just got a bit of deja vu, so I quit it.
She said. We pressed her for more information, and she finally said what she saw.
I think I saw me in my mom's house.
She said, letting out a whoosh of air.
I think, I don't know, but it looked like, do you know that coffee table my mom has in the living room? The gross one? She puts out her cigs on the wood edge and it's all...
Yeah, it's got white shit burned into it.
Right. I saw a table that looked really like it in one of the videos. It freaked me out a little, so I stopped.
The table exploded in excitement. I was pretty interested too, because I had never seen a piece of furniture in any of CarpetCure's videos. They always had empty rooms. "Do you remember what video it was, Lore?" I asked. She shook her head. Todd pointed at her phone.
It'd be in your viewing history. You should find it.
After a little coaxing, Lore pulls the video up on her phone. It was uploaded yesterday, but I don't remember reviewing it. I would know if I saw it because it was just like she said. In a white room with a beige carpet, a coffee table was pushed to the side of the video. She tilted her phone to expand the video, and we all stared silently for almost a minute while the video ran. That was Lore's mom's coffee table. The white spots on the edge of the wood were plain as day, and the shape seemed to fit how I remembered it when I saw it last. Or at least it looked very much like it. Jerry laughed.
Well, Lore, did your mom hire carpet cleaners recently?
Lore closed out the video quickly and rolled her eyes.
I don't know. Maybe it isn't hers, and it's just someone else who puts cigarettes out that way. I'm sure it's a common thing,
Jerry said. That reassured Lore a little, but I could tell that she was still unsettled by it when she left. So was I. The video was uploaded the day before, and that night was when she viewed it. I would have remembered a video opening with a table in the room while reviewing, but I never saw one. It could have meant that another reviewer saw it and gave it the green light, but it was still strange. I looked up the video on my own that night and decided to watch it all the way through. It seemed normal despite the table. Vacuuming, steaming, washing, rinsing, drying. I was almost falling asleep when I hit the middle of the video and it began buffering. The video was frozen on a steamer going across the floor. My Wi-Fi had blinked out for a minute. I refreshed the video and I noticed something new when I do. There's a comment on the video posted seconds ago. She's looking pretty clean now. The username is WorldTourCure. You gotta be kidding me. WorldTourCure? CarpetCure? It seemed kind of weird. Out of curiosity, I visited WorldTourCure's page. Their channel was pretty blank, with no descriptive information, photos, or social media links. It looked like an average viewer account, simply existing to view and favorite videos. That is, until I saw their uploads. Hundreds of videos. They all had nondescript titles like 11022, 45E66, some kind of code I couldn't understand, or just random strings of letters and numbers. I couldn't tell which. I clicked on a few of them and realized it was a GoPro account. Whoever they were, they uploaded GoPro videos of their excursions. Sometimes it was a dash cam. Each video was about 5 minutes long and was simply a snippet of a walk, car ride, or bike ride someplace. Sometimes it was a city. Other times it was a random bike path outdoors. Sometimes it rained. Sometimes it was snowy area. They were all pretty unremarkable from what I could tell. No one talked in the video besides people that the uploader passed by while walking or driving. It was simply the sounds of their surroundings. I wondered if this was another ASMR-focused account, but they had only 10 to 20 views per video. I dismissed it as a weird coincidence. They weren't related accounts whatsoever. Who knows, maybe WorldTourCure was a charity thing, going on a world tour for cure? I didn't care. I was tired and went to bed. Tuesday rolled around, and Lore didn't show up. She didn't answer her phone either. Todd tried calling, and it went straight to voicemail.
That's weird.
He muttered.
Maybe she's upset. We did kind of bully her last time over the whole table thing.
Todd clicked his tongue against his teeth.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but it's not like her. It says she hasn't been on Steam since Sunday. Is that normal for her?
Jerry and I were both quiet. Something wasn't right. I felt compelled to tell them about the comment on Lore's video. It wasn't that I thought there was a connection between the comment and her no-show, but I wanted to show other people what I had found. We viewed a couple of WorldTourCure's videos when Todd's face grew pale.
Dude, hang on. Go back.
He said suddenly, jarring Jerry and me. What?
Go back to the last video, the night one.
He said. I went back to the video. It was nothing special, just another GoPro video on a bike. This one was at night, which was slightly different, but I had come across nighttime videos before. So I knew it wasn't like a one-off occurrence for the channel.
Go to like a minute in.
Why? I ask, but I do it anyway. The video plays. The only sounds you can hear are the wind, the bike across gravel, and the slight audio disturbance of the GoPro moving on the person's head. It appears to be a neighborhood with rows of cookie-cutter houses on either side of the street. There are no cars or other bikes, so it must have been a quiet place. Most lights are off in the buildings, save for a patio light or two, so I imagined it must have been late at night.
There!
Todd gasped. I paused the video quickly with my thumb.
Did you see it? Holy shit.
Todd was breathing nervously now.
See what? It's dark as shit.
Jerry said. Todd pointed at the corner of the screen to a light-colored house on the street.
Sundials.
He said with finality. I squinted a bit and could make out the shapes of dark figures in the yard. It was hard to tell what they were, but it was obvious it was some type of yard decoration. The streetlight glimmered off metal or plastic surfaces, and in the reflection, you could kind of make out a shape. They were discs, some elevated and others flat on the grass, with a single post rising out from the center. A sundial. That's a lot of sundials, I said. So? Jerry was quiet now too, and pulled away from the table for a moment.
I don't know, dude. That's fucked up.
He said.
You see it, right?
Todd was frantic.
Like, that has to be it, right?
Has to be what? I asked.
That's Lore's mom's house.
Todd said.
Don't you remember? She had like 20 sundials. The whole yard was covered in them.
I shrugged a little. Now that he mentioned it, I did remember there was something strange about the yard. Mentally, I pictured junk or lawn gnomes or something. That I remember, but no, Todd was right. It was the sundials she collected. We watched the rest of the video, now with apprehension, waiting to see if anything strange had happened. The biker didn't slow down by Lore's house or change direction, and just rode off through the rest of the neighborhood until the video ended at 5 minutes. There were no comments on the video, and it only had 2 views. That was it.
I'm gonna go check it out.
Todd said suddenly, standing and grabbing his jacket. Whoa, what? Now? I asked. It was dark out, almost 11 p.m.
Yeah, now. Something's not right, dude.
he said, then turned his eyes toward Jerry.
Are you coming?
Jerry shook his head.
I have to pick Ava up early tomorrow, otherwise I'd go. Her mom's a bitch if I get there late.
It was a weak excuse, but I could tell by Jerry's posture that he was really uneasy about the whole thing. I was too, more than I wanted to admit.
I'm leaving now. You can come or you can stay here.
Todd said. I didn't want to be alone. It was a weird realization, but I know that now. I didn't want to be alone then, so I went with him. We said goodbye to Jerry at the door and hopped in Todd's Civic to check out Laura's house. On the ride there, I looked through more of WorldTourCure's videos. There were no other unusual uploads. The video we spotted Laura's house in was uploaded the day before we saw her last, though, which sent a chill up my spine. We pull up to Laura's house. It's dark and there were no lights on in or outside the house. It was unmistakably the yard we saw in the video. Standing like silent gargoyles in the yard were dozens of sundials, some stone and some plastic or metal. Todd stalls at the corner for a moment. I watch his face go through a short range of emotions before he finally puts the car in reverse and backs into Laura's driveway.
Fuck it. I don't like this shit.
He grunted. Isn't it kinda late to go? I got to ask, but Todd's outside of the car before I can finish my sentence. I watch him go around the front door and hear the faint sound of his knocking. In the rearview mirror, I watch him stand there with his arms crossed for a few moments. He finally rings the doorbell, and the sound echoes in the dark night. I wince, knowing that if her mom is home, she will be pissed. Nothing happens. Todd stands there for another few seconds, then steps down into the yard and walks to the side of the house. I open the door slightly and peer out. "Hey!" I whisper loudly. "I don't think you should be..."
Oh my god.
Todd said, then again, but louder.
Oh my god.
The tone of his voice sends a chill down my back. I get out of the car and walk over to where he's standing in front of the large living room window. The first thing I notice is that the curtains are wide open. No, there are no curtains. I look closer into the house and feel like I'm going to faint. It's bare, empty, no furniture, no TV, no pictures on the wall in the nearby hallway. Nothing. No lamps. It's an empty room. We both stood there in shock for a few moments. Todd steps away from the window.
I'm calling her again.
He doesn't have any luck reaching her. I was starting to get the creeps standing there, so I moved away from the window. Maybe they're moving? I offer.
Moved? They moved. There's nothing here. But her mom would never leave the sundials.
Todd said.
This doesn't make any sense, Steve. She would tell us if she was moving.
He was right, but I couldn't think of a better explanation. Todd called the police. They couldn't do anything besides take statements and offer to do a wellness check the next day if Laura or her mom came back to the property. We were left with no answers and drove back to our apartment in silence. I couldn't sleep that night. I couldn't get the sight of Laura's coffee table out of my mind. The channel that felt almost comically boring now felt threatening. I felt compelled to get up, to start reviewing videos again and pay attention to what CarpetCure was uploading. But at the same time, I wanted to stay as far away from my laptop as possible. Eventually, I fell asleep and had nightmares that I couldn't remember when I awoke. The next morning, I began reviewing CarpetCure's videos. I was nervous, worried that I had missed something, but I still managed to fall asleep at my desk. I spend straight hours in my chair, motionless, watching through entire videos in the queue. When I awoke, it was to a loud sound, one that rose above the noise of the carpet cleaner in the video that played while I slept. When I realized what it was, it felt like a gun went off next to my ear, and I jumped. It was a baby crying. I had never heard voices in the videos, ever, let alone the sound of a baby, but there it was, as though it was coming from the room over in the video. I let it play for several minutes to see if things changed, but it remained the same. The baby's crying rose and fell, and then ceased entirely by the end of the video. Nothing else strange happened, and it sounded as though the baby simply fell asleep. I'm shaking with anxiety by the end of the video. It was irrational, but all I could think about was Jerry and his daughter. He had just got her back a few hours ago, so it couldn't possibly be his apartment in the video. I backed away from my desk and let out a long sigh. I was losing it. I know I was. I stood up and paced around before finally caving in and calling for Todd. If he had the same reaction, maybe there was something to this. I grew queasy when I noticed the time it was posted. Todd was silent as he watched the video. I could tell by his face that he was thinking the same thing I was. As the video ended, he began to stand up. I noticed that the next video in the autoplay queue was from WorldTourCure, and I stopped him. Early this morning, GoPro guy is on a bike again. Todd grips the back of my chair with tense hands.
I don't fucking believe it.
He kept muttering. It's a mildly busy city street. There are cars in the road and people in the sidewalks, and the biker effortlessly weaves between the foot traffic. Snippets of conversation are heard as he rides by. Finally, something recognizable pops into the frame. A coffee shop. The same coffee shop by Jerry's apartment. Todd makes a noise, something close to a whimper, as we watch the biker round the corner and zoom directly in front of Rook's End, Jerry's apartment complex. Today. This morning.
God damn it!
Todd exclaims. He gets his coat. I get mine too. Todd is fuming by the time we make it to Jerry's apartment complex. My first reaction is fear. He is angry, and he makes his presence known all through the hallway on his way to Jerry's apartment. I follow close behind as he stomps up the stairs and stand there awkwardly as he bangs on the door.
Jerry! Jerry?
Todd yells at the door. I worry that he will disturb Ava, but a pit drops in my stomach after a few harsh knocks. There is no Ava, or she'd be crying right now.
Fuck this.
Todd grunts and pushes me away from the door. He takes a big step back, raises his boot, and kicks the door as hard as he can. Todd! He does it again and again. The door next to Jerry's opens, and a concerned younger woman pokes her head out. She appears to want to say something, then changes her mind, and quickly closes her door again. Someone from down the hall does say something, yelling down the hallway at Todd to knock his shit off.
Call the police!
Todd yelled back. The man walks briskly to the staircase, and I attempt to pull Todd away from the door. He's probably going to get the landlord, Todd. We need to get out of here, I mutter. I'm just as scared as he is, but there could be a logical explanation for this. There could be. What if he took Ava somewhere? What if he's just not home, Todd? Todd stops kicking and he looks at me with a fearful gleam.
Yeah? Let's find out.
I follow him as he makes his way down the stairs again. We walk past the man from the hallway, standing at the front desk. He gestures rudely at Todd and leans down to say something to the secretary. I'm thankful when we step out of the building, thinking things are over, but Todd had other plans. He looped around the building to the fire escape and began climbing. Todd, what are you doing?
I'm going to look. That's what I'm doing.
I stand at the bottom of the stairs hesitantly. Eventually, curiosity gets the better of me. Or was it fear then? I couldn't remember anything past the strange surge of adrenaline. I scale the stairs fast to catch up to Todd, and we reach Jerry's window at about the same time. It was exactly what we knew it was. What we knew we'd see. An empty room. Todd is visibly shaking as he puts his hands on the sill of the window.
How could they have...
He steps back as though he's about to walk back down the stairs, but instead he takes his jacket off. I peer over the edge of the fire escape just in time to see a police car park alongside the curb. Todd, we better go. There was a loud crash, and I turned to see Todd smashing his fist through Jerry's window. He had wrapped his jacket around his fist, and glass clattered down through the metal slats as he swiped it out of the frame. Before I could say anything, he climbed into the window and hopped onto the floor. The police had to have heard the sound, and I didn't want to be the one spotted on the fire escape. So I followed him in. Todd is hyperventilating in the living room. He looks at me with the scared face of an animal.
It's all gone, Steve. There's nothing here.
I check all of the rooms and discover that he's right. Nothing. Jerry's apartment was empty. Where we brought his daughter Ava only hours before. We both try calling Jerry and get no answer. Before we can text him, there's a loud pounding on the door.
You need to come out now.
A man yells through the door. The police. We stand frozen, debating what to do, but the lock turns and the door opens to two police officers and a short man with a key in hand. They were alarmed, but quickly appeared to calm down. Maybe they saw how scared we were, or maybe they were shocked that we had broken into an empty room. The landlord was shocked too and gestured vaguely at the room.
He's moving?
He asked. We speak to the police. They seemed to take this more seriously than they did the situation at Laura's house, likely because a child was involved. We called Jerry's ex-wife, and she was just as surprised, just as scared as we were. Something's wrong here, Carissa, I attempt to say, but she screams into the receiver.
You're goddamn right something's wrong. He took my fucking baby.
She refused to hear anything about CarpetCure, and so did the police.
We have a cleaning service,
The landlord said.
but it's not called CarpetCure. Did he tell you he was hiring them?
No, he didn't hire them. They're not even from here.
Todd said exasperatedly, but he soon realized there was no use. No one was going to believe us. No one was going to think that connecting the dots between a crying baby in a vacuuming video and a guy with a GoPro's biking past the apartment was a logical thing to do. we went home in silence. The landlord said that he would contact Todd and didn't want to press charges. He simply wanted his window fixed. He was just as confused by Jerry's disappearance as we were, but he didn't seem to be frightened by it. Something compelled me to look at the CarpetCure video again. As I expected, WorldTourCure had left a comment. "Great job. Who's next?" I can't stay in my apartment, and neither can Todd.
This is fucking crazy, dude. We need to get the fuck out of here.
We decide on settling into this motel. It's been a few hours and nothing weird has happened. I've gone online to report both CarpetCure and WorldTourCure's accounts in the hopes of getting them banned from the platform. It felt a little silly, hiding from a carpet cleaning company, but something felt off. We had enough evidence to decide that something wrong was happening. I don't know what to do next. Do we wait to see if they go by our apartment in WorldTourCure's videos? Do we report them to the FBI or something? Todd hasn't said anything since we got here. He's tried calling Jerry a few more times, but it goes right to voicemail. I feel sick to my stomach when I think about Ava. I received a response from YouTube. And yeah, it's YouTube, I'll say it. They responded to my flags. But they're part of it. They're part of it. And they said, we have determined that the cure has not violated our terms of service.
Chilling tales for dark nights.